But he's been good lately. Good enough to take a map of Trap? Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't say that's the most impossible thing in the world. Let's see what goes down. Trap got it done last week 2-0 against Percival, as Bunny is in the top right corner of the map. Trap will be in the bottom left. Bunny 7-4 in the league, 5-2 against Protoss. Trap, of course, big player from Afreeca Freecs, meant to be that ace, but only 9-6. So, honestly, not that great when it comes to the stats. However, when it comes to his PvT, he is 4-0 on the season. So, yeah, he's, I don't know, like I say, to me that sets this up to be a pretty fun one. I feel like Trap's maybe not been his absolute peak lately, but Bunny's been playing good StarCraft. Like I say, as Bunny, you only need one map, so if this first map doesn't go your way, you then get the map pick for map 2. I would imagine you then pick Curious Minds, you put the Protoss on a difficult to get third base, and you just sort of go from there. I'm kind of excited to how this ends up. I think there's a lot of potential for some fun TVP. Bunny also not afraid to crank out some crazier TVP builds at times as well. You know, if there's a man that's gonna, Thor rush and stuff, then Bunny would be it. So, yeah, a lot of potential for some fun here in this 2-game series that they will play. Well, we are just setting up and getting this rolling with a reactor onto the barracks. A Marine chases this probe around, pushing that out over the front of the natural, so that gets chased out of here. As the reactor comes through, both players are expanding at the moment. And just seeing where we're going to go. Adept coming through, rallying up a little bit. And, yeah, additional racks coming down, so that's going to be the choice here. From Bunny to go second and third racks already, and to apply the pressure with that. Try and get a lot done. And like I said, just move from there, and yeah, I hope that is going to be able to put you into a decent spot, right? So that's what we're aiming for right now. Stargate going to be the choice from Trap, so we'll see how he wants to play the Stargate, see if he wants to play just an Oracle into Phoenix, or if he just wants to play an Oracle into Blink, as we just saw a little bit of from Creator, so maybe a chance to compare some styles and look at different setups. Trap in general is fairly common for him to play kind of some Phoenix and stuff, so it's definitely a possibility. See some Phoenix brought into play, and some action from there would be actually kind of cool. I'd be kind of down to see some Phoenix play, especially just to mix it up from the last game a little bit, right? And like I say, see a different style, see how that plays out, and see how that just rolls in general. I think it would be pretty neat. So Phoenix is popping out, and yeah, just gonna be getting a bunch of those up now. Phoenix blind against the 3 racks is not great. The Adept gets the scout, and Bunny knows he gave himself up there. You could see the reaction, the Gamma. He's like, oh man, I just let that Adept walk in and get way more information than it should have been allowed to, right? So that's immediately good news for Trap, because now he knows that it's a 3 racks and he can set up accordingly. He's still adding on Phoenix. We'll see what role they will play when it comes to the defense here in the near future. As right now, they're just going to grab an SCV, try and slow down the factory production, get one of the workers on the gas, and obviously just some light harassment to start up with as well, a little bit. So just getting that established to begin with here, and then going from there. Phoenix up the right, Marines come in, and SCV's going to be in some trouble, so a couple of workers being picked off. Because the shells is starting up now as the stim pack will be coming to a close, and Just going to be seeing again additional units just warping in on the front of the natural, but this is going to be necessary as you can see all of the Terran units starting to move across the map, including all of those Marines on the follow-up. So pretty dangerous couple moments here from Trap. Let's see how it goes with the Phoenix on the wrong side of the map. They're not going to be able to aid at all back at home. So yeah, really important that you get your defense at home to be absolutely pristine. Yes, the Immortal is going to be a big part of that. But now though, we're just going to sit and harass the initial gateway. I mean, okay. Obviously, you don't really want to stim in because the moment you stim in, it's just going to be a super battery placed. Force field was not exactly brilliant though. Super battery does not come down. Now it does, but you're in range of it. Target that super battery, Bunny, and we will get that right away. Now you can get this pylon, unpower the robo. Okay, I mean, that's something, but he did lose a lot of units in the process. It's tough because obviously the super battery, you don't know which battery it's going to be, so you can't just target down one. That's the power of having two batteries. You really have to wait for it to be popped, and then I actually do think he was a little bit slow on kind of following up from that, and maybe that part of this could have been just a little bit better from Bunny. Now it feels like he lost a good amount of units, and actually maybe Trap can work with this from this point on. Marines are still down here, so if Trap had moved out to a third, maybe there's some potential for these Marines to run into the natural and deal some damage as well. So again, they are continuing to just look for their next opportunity as well. This is going to be seeing our few guns continuing to settle down, and of course, Bunny trying to assess what is next. Obviously, the third is fairly late here from the Protoss. It's not like he rushed that third base out or anything, so that's one thing that the initial, you know, 3-racks attempt has done here. It's definitely slowed down any attempt to sort of continue into the third base super quickly. So, I mean, that's a positive, but obviously, again, as Bunny, you lost a lot of units, and now you can't really apply that much more pressure. So, yeah, it becomes kind of awkward. It becomes a little bit sucky, in fact, and I guess we'll see again what Bunny tries to do next with these Phoenix still controlling the game a bit. Then you've got the Colossus coming up, so you got splash damage on the way. And he lost 10 SCVs so far. I didn't realize the Phoenix had already been that effective, but that's obviously a pretty serious amount of workers to be losing, so that actually really does hurt quite a lot. That's going to be seeing these medevacs. I think I've slipped by the Phoenix, but of course there's not going to be much getting out of here, so as they drop into the back of this main, they need to get some damage done. The pros will start to pull, and okay, well, maybe this is potentially get a little bit of damage dealt, as these Zealots don't have charge or anything, so they're just kind of sat in the corner in a bit of a weird place. Phoenix coming in to try and lift up some units. The Zealots are dead. Now the Phoenix being shot down as the medevac takes damage. We're just going to pull back from the Colossus and try and get some probes at the end of this. Again, you went in kind of knowing these units were going to die. At the same time, on the third base, though, Bunny now going to lift up and evacuate with these units, so at least not everything goes down. 12 probes killed, drops over towards the natural expansion, where he's going to get a few more worker kills before this is done. I mean, okay, this is getting out of control. This drop play from Bunny's fantastic. He's got the army on the left side, though, in a fight. What's happening on the left side? Did the medevacs get killed? What happened? Everything died. No. Bunny, that's obviously not great. Losing everything on the left, because that was a sizable chunk of units as well. So Trap at least finding one good fight, and amongst all of these worker losses, and maybe that sets him up for the counterattack here, because he's obviously not in a great economic position. But if you can just counterattack right now and win the game, then economy doesn't matter, or just deal some eco damage yourself. Let's see if you can off the back of killing off that attack that was on the third base. As the first Widowmine shot goes off, a turret buys a little bit of time. We're going to stim in. Widowmine's going to hit the Phoenix. Actually, really good hit. It's a healthy Phoenix as well, and the splash brings a lot of them low. Bunny gives up the third location for the moment. It's just fighting these two Colossi. That's absolutely where you're going to need the SCVs to pull in and help. Widowmine's got some okay-ish shots off, just again the question of whether it's going to be enough or not. Let's continue forward, we're going to lift the base, and in we go. We're going to commit to this fight. One force field goes down, it's the only one available. 12 SCVs already down, and that number rises quickly. The Prism taking damage, but it's not shot down yet, so the Zealot warping goes off, and that means more time where these Colossi can just sit and fight, and I think Bunny is actually going to lose the game because he lost the units that were attacking on the third base. He was doing enough to get himself back in it, but needs to keep the units alive, and otherwise in a moment like this becomes way too powerful. Phoenix are going to chase down the Vikings. I actually don't know if that's going to be okay, though. More Vikings popping now. Bunny down by 14 workers. Army supply is actually still okay. If he gets his third base relanded and just start producing SCVs again, he might be alright here. Trap realizing himself probes need to be back on the menu. Still lacking some tech of his own as he sets up here. Prism, remember, did go down, so reinforcements into the fight not possible anymore for Trap. That's important to note because it means that continue attacking here is a little bit more risky than it was before, as the Vikings kind of get the Phoenix. You get the Phoenix, and you can get the Colossus more easily next time around as well, so something else to keep in mind as this game is not quite done yet. Although Trap is up a lot of supply, maybe you can find a decent fight here as Bunny, because like I say, no upgrades on these gateway units mean that they're just that much worse than usual. They really are. Vikings kiting back, and now enough of them to start on the Colossus, going after the... Well, he's kind of splitting the damage here, there, and everywhere. SCVs pull in, the Marauders need to just stim again. The Vikings want to get back on the Colossus. You need to get these Colossus down, but it's just not happening. One of the Colossus and 20 supply, 20 kills, sorry. And that is going to be GG. Trap wins it out, but it got troubling there for a few moments. It became very troubling for a few moments, and he just about manages to eke out the victory in the end. Keep himself and his team in the game and in the series. Bunny's map pick. Try and avoid an ace match. We'll see what he chooses in just a couple moments here. See. He can bring it back here this time. Straight into our next game, guys. Bottom right side is Bunny from Team NV. Taking on in the upper left, the red Protoss player from the Afreeca Freecs. It is Trap. Alright, well, let's see how this goes down as we get ourselves into our next map. Potentially the last of this series if Bunny can get the map win, but of course, potential for this to also go to the ace game, right? So that would be exciting to see who gets brought out in the ace. Fun matches today, guys. I mean, this was definitely the best match, and that's why we're kind of talking about it, and why we decided to do WTL instead of the next tournament that's going on at the same time. Just because this series itself looked like really one to catch, and so far absolutely has been. Doing 3 series a day now. That's just for this week and next week due to GSL Super Tournament scheduling and TSL on the weekends. These are pretty much the only days you can actually schedule Korean content for, so yeah, we kind of 3 matches a day for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be back to our 2 matches a day for the couple of weeks after to wrap up the season. Well, we are going to be seeing a factor on the way before we expand as Bunny, as this probe will get shot down, trying to pick up further information. People will begin to head across to the upper left-hand side, so moving away on a little bit of a journey already. Just going to be seeing the Reaper collecting together, moving around again. A couple of Reapers coming up, and just going to see the Stargate coming in from Trap. Has to play next on WTL tomorrow. Yeah, well, I'm sure it's sorted out so that he will play one of his matches from replays, or the schedule has just said that he'll play one then the other. So I don't think you guys have to worry. I think it's going to be okay, you know. Pretty sure Clem's aware, and I'm pretty sure they're doing something to work around it, you know. Phoenix on the way up again from Trap, as we see Bunny with his expansion now almost done. Starport going to be finished here. We are building a single Widow Mine, as the Reaper will hop up into the Warloff. And so he's not actually going to commit up there for now. He's going to turn away, but he sees the Phoenix anyway, so you see the Phoenix can't know what's going on. He kind of threatens to go back up again. It's like, ah, lift me, lift me. You know, he's like, I don't really care if I lose the Reaper. And then he's like, okay, you're not going to lift me. The depth's on the way, then it's not worth it, right? If I'm not getting anything out of it, I may as well keep the Reaper alive. If you can force a lift, that's some energy spent, and that's one less SCV maybe that gets lifted at some stage or so. And that's generally the idea there, is maybe seeing our additional racks building into the main base. Robo facility is coming down from trap back at home, so going to go Robo quickly again into that Robo Bay into Colossus. A lot of what we just saw previously, pretty much, so a little bit more of the same. Phoenix are coming back down and chasing down a Reaper and a Hellion at the moment, so they are being hunted. As you get a little bit of a pick off. Widowmine shot is good onto a Phoenix, so that's actually going to put it low. Obviously, Widowmine goes down. No kill there, but a low HP Phoenix makes it an easier target if you're trying to target stuff down while, you know, things all being lifted. That's generally actually pretty good for you, so that part definitely not so bad. Just set up initially. Again, for the moment, kind of on we go as these few Phoenix come around the bottom here. Gonna grab an SCV on that barracks. And again, just going to grab one more SCV since a couple of workers going down. And the medevac taking just a little bit of damage as well. So a bit of back and forth here. The Phoenix trying to put on some pressure. A couple SCVs going down. And again, just trying to make it as safe as possible for him to get to Colossus. As he takes that third Nexus as well. And, well, Bunny, not going to think about a push yet. We'll probably be looking to push when Stim is a thing. But we'll see what happens. Shot hits the Phoenix initially. Missile turret is good to get the Phoenix kill. Medevac loads up with a Hellion and a few Marines. Are we going to take this across the map? Looks like we're going to give it a go at least. So across the map we will head as the other units will just be left back, and I guess we wait until probably well, +1 in Stim and combat shields, then all the upgrades to finish up, basically. Medevac going to come in, so it's actually going to be multi-pronged. He goes Medevac to the main base as everything else comes around the back. Oh, around the back. The Medevac's around the back. The rest of the units are through the center, directly at the front. Across to the other side. And in we go. I mean, it distracts the Phoenix, but it isn't going to pull anything else out the way, right? And it's kind of the issue, I guess. Well, a couple units left here, so Warpin or two will go in this position. Yeah, everything else is just going to turn it. Well, he actually loads up to go into the main with more units, but I think the Phoenix saw that. These couple Marines are still chasing the Phoenix down. They have one mission in life. They're trying to make it happen, but I just don't think it will go. I don't think it will happen. That's going to be unloading into the main. It's just going to be seeing a Widowmine burrowing up. Stalker in a little bit of trouble. Just going to be seeing our other units continuing forward as well. I mean, Widowmine shot is decent, but you need to find a way out of here. You do have the boost available. Obviously, the danger is the Phoenix are going to chase down those medevacs, so you got to be a little bit cautious about that. In this case, it was okay, and now the Phoenix will get the medevac kill. That's going to be seeing the Marauder still being shot down, so overall, still looking pretty decent. As uh-oh. YouTube stream. YouTube stream. We're back. Okay. Oh, are we back? Okay, we just skipped forward a little bit, guys. Got caught up, so apologies for that, but we are back and running at least. We didn't miss much, right? Just bunny posturing a little bit. Oh, it's lagging again? Okay, I'll give it one more chance, and if it lags one more, I'm going to try the Twitch stream instead. The thing is, when this happens, it's probably lagging on both the streams is the only issue, right? So, Twitch and the YouTube version, so sorry for that for a moment or two. Okay, and that's not on you guys, that's just on my clean feed. Just lagging out a little bit, so apologies. And when we go, is a few probes went down, so a little bit of harass across the map. Sorry, I didn't see what that was while trying to double check the lag and stuff. That's going to be seeing that Phoenix still moving around this left-hand side. Going to be Get themselves set up a little bit, and we'll get a couple more SCVs of their own. +1 attack and charge about to be done from Trap, so his army ever improving as he's on 4 bases, and Bunny is trying to hold his 3, getting the Viking count up and going to Ghosts. He knows that this is not a game he's going to win quickly. He knows this is a game where he's going to have to focus on some of those tech units and really bring those out to really make this happen. Gonna knock down the rocks over here and obviously open up this section of the map as well, as Trap will look for access down through the center. And he's actually gonna start posturing to maybe attack into the 3rd base of Bunny, so Trap wanting to be a bit aggressive. Bunny knows about it, as Widowmine tells him the army is there, so he's gonna start counterattacking. He's gonna stim to speed up this process, but the unit's already on the way back to deal with this, and so this is not going to be a success story. Bunny is going to end up being turned away and having to fall back from this right now. Marauder's getting lifted as well, and those are expensive losses. As now everything else showing up, it feels like Bunny's the one that lost a lot more here initially. The units that come around the left side maybe could have been jumped on if Bunny had had more all collected together, as Trap is looking to take this to an ace match. If he can win this game right here and right now, and it looks as though he just might. I mean, Bunny gets an EMP or so off, hits the Archons, and they melt, but the Colossi are not going anywhere. The Phoenix obviously buffering for them for a long time as well. Now Trap turns around, but he's killed 20 SCVs. The damage is done. He will fall back, let that SCV difference sink in a little bit, and he can come back and gain full strength, and Bunny just knows it's GG, it's over. We're going to an ace match. Will Maru be forced to come out here, or will he send someone else? Will Trap stay out to play the ace? I guess we'll find out. We're going to the ace. Team NV and Afreeca Freecs. Afreeca Freecs will win this out. It's 2,000 atmospheres for our map. Let's hope for a great ace game. We're loading straight on in. Absolutely no break at all, huh? Alright, we are not slowing down in the slightest. It is obviously not 2-0 Trap on the bottom scoreboard. I'm sure they'll fix that in a moment, but it is 3-3 overall. Maru in the top right, our blue Terran player from Team NV. Trap in the bottom left from the Afreeca Freecs. 40 hype is in the chat. I love it. I love it. Everyone getting hyped up, ready for some TVP at its very, very best. Maru did say that TVP recently in an interview was his weakest matchup and maybe his biggest problem in StarCraft 2 right now, but I mean, he's been playing so freaking well anyways that even if it's a problem, it kind of feels as though it's something which is still doable for him, right? And, yeah, let's see how this goes down. As you see the barracks just coming out the side there, and that's just going to be a little bit of a fake out in case the probe scouts right away. Maybe you think it's a proxy. That adjusts a couple of your timings. Maybe that's something you have to adjust to a little bit or play around as Trap. So that's something that Maru is going to aim for here a little bit initially. Hey, Cam8985, as this starts up, thank you for your 500 bits. First bits of the day, much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, just hype for the game, right? Thank you so much for the 500 bits. Hope you enjoy as we get this underway. Yeah, guys, the scoreboard's just wrong. It's just from last time. Obviously, Trap just played Bunny. Yeah, he 2-0'd there, and they just didn't update it properly or so. So I'm sure they'll get around to fixing it in a moment or so. Obviously, it's just Game 7 of the Ace match, so that's all you need to know. It's Game 7 of the Ace. This is the first map these two play against each other. They only play one map in this Ace, and this is it. So enjoy what you can of it. Don't waste your time looking at the score. Just look at the game. Factory is on its way up here then, so Maru will factory before he expands, of course. That will allow him to put on a little bit more pressure early in the game, so something to keep in mind as well. Just going to bunker up between the pylon and the Nexus. This is annoying because if you pull a probe to deal with this, there's a good chance the SCV goes to the other side of the bunker, and that's very frustrating. So this bunker has a good chance of getting up, and then obviously you're in range of the battery, so you can hit the battery with the Reaper in the bunker. Then that is very frustrating to deal with, actually, because then the battery does eventually go down, so you've invested in a battery that is then killed off. And yeah, this SCV is going to finish the bunker. Reaper in the mains, the Stalker pulls back to deal with that, so it can't go and deny the SCV either. And so we'll just pull back to deal with it as the Reaper comes around. Isn't in the bunker yet, not committing. Is actually just going to go back toward the main base, it seems. So not going to do too much here, just salvages that bunker right away. Yeah, back into the main, don't need to be met by another Stalker, and for now, Reaper is held off, and not too much of a problem here from Trap as the Twilight Council is coming down, ticking its way toward completion. Of course, Maru's still only just now starting the command center, so at some point here he will need to do some kind of damage, because if he does not, he is just naturally behind on the game, so something to look at. So just going to be seeing our Blink starts, an additional gateway going down, and just going to jump up with the Reaper Stalker. Going to get grenaded, but actually dodges the grenade nicely. Reaper just wants to dive in at this point. He wants to give himself up to make sure he gets the scout. He needs to know what he's playing against. And this scout does tell him that, as you see the Blink is continuing up. So you know about that right away. That's obviously good information to have. That's very good to know. Just going to be seeing our CC finishing on the natural here in a couple of moments. Just going to be seeing our depth coming through. Trying to get a little bit more done. Guys, I see so many people shout about the score. Let me just add something in to block it so that people aren't constantly wondering what the hell's going on and stuff, and being like, how is it 2-0 and stuff, because... Oh, it literally just fixed. Perfect. Alright, it just fixed itself, as we do have our Widowmine drop arriving in the main. Going to unburrow, reburrow there. Has one Widowmine left, but a hurting medevac, so... a dangerous game you're playing. I would love to see the actual Widow Mines that are already burrowing and reburrowing Observer. I really feel like they lost the original Observer for the World Team League, and it feels like since then it's just not been the same. Because he's sometimes looking at some weird things. He's going to kill the Adept here. I think he's very happy to kill the Adept, and then he's just going to unburrow, reburrow this mine one more time. And that is just going to... oh, one more time? I don't like that. I feel like he could have even retargeted that mine between the two different probes in range, and then that would have been able to keep it going. But the unburrow, reburrow, when there's two stalkers there, that means the mine just dies, and it doesn't even really buy you any more time because the probes are already on their way back. So that part's a little bit more of a question mark, as Maru will now bring the Raven across the map, and we'll use that to try and harass a little bit further with an auto turret or so. This Widow Mine does get in eventually, as the medevac, I believe, died for that. Gets a couple more probes, and that will be how this continues through. Obviously, Trap got to 3 bases behind all of this as well, so that's important to note that he got to that 3-base setup eventually. Now we're just going to see an additional gateway coming down here as well, so a couple of gates, a Robo Bay, everything looking decent in that regard. As otherwise, just going to be seeing these Stalkers at the front trying to pressure, but tank is well placed. I mean, not much to say there. A couple more probes just went down, but we're not looking at that as a third one dies, and a fourth one dies. There we go. So the auto turret that was laying waste to them, so the Raven coming in useful across the map, actually getting some reasonable damage done right away. And again, we really do just kind of wait for the next step of this and see where we're going to be heading to in the next little while. We got Colossus on the way up from Trap. Eventually, Maru would love to rejoin this Raven with his main army, right? It's all well and good using it as harassment, but there's also a stage of this game, right, where it's like, well, actually, while I like harassing, it's also nice to be able to have a Matrix available and so on, so there are definitely parts which are better here and better there. These Stalkers get pushed back as the tank moves forward with the bio units. Maru starting to get into a position to contest a forward location. He doesn't have a third CC yet, right? So this is just very much so at the moment a 2-base push. Maybe a third base behind this. Either way, he wants to start taking position on the map, right? So onto the map we go and start to move out down to the bottom side. As the Nexus on the third gets set up, the bio units are going to come through and check out the watchtower. There's the Raven again, thinking about dropping in the harassment, but going to wait a little bit longer until he actually uses it, so it doesn't auto turret just yet. I'm a little worried for Trap. I mean, these two tanks will put in work against the Colossus, and they can edge a little bit further forward than they are right now. Next Colossus on its way, but not ready yet. Did the Raven just die? No, it's on the bottom side. It's coming in behind the third base at the moment. He could Matrix the Colossus and take a position. I think he's just trying to get the Raven out, but it just died instead as he dropped the auto turret, but the Raven did go down. Again, sorry guys, watching a clean feed, and I'm not gonna lie, I know I'm not the best observer a lot of the time, but I feel like when your job is to only observe, you should be a little bit more on point than this when, you know, yeah, I just feel like you should be a little bit more focused because right now we're missing a lot of stuff today. I don't want to complain too much, but it's a little frustrating because I feel like today has been really bad. I've shouted out multiple important things happening that have just not been on screen. Zell goes down, 5 SCVs felt, a little bit of a counterattack. Drop now down the left side into the main base. It's a lot of SimCity here to work through for Trap to get back into his main to deal with this. So this is annoying. Battery goes down. That's a dead pylon power in the Forge. That means the Forge is actually going to get targeted as well. No upgrade for you, Trap, so you'll be behind on upgrades for a little while here. Good drop from Maru. He will get a lift up and an escape away. Just going to be seeing the medevacs getting out of there then as the Observer comes out the front. The Observer, we'll see a Widow Mine and a Marine hanging around. Just going to see the rest of this bio army from Maru also making its way forward. The double Forge coming up. Trap going to try and reset his upgrades and go for 2 at a time rather than just a single. So that's going to be how he tries to make up the difference there. Not a bad idea right at this sort of stage of the game. It's just the right kind of plan. As again, a little bit of backwards and forwards. A Widow Mine going to go back onto the Watchtower, and another Widow Mine around the top side. And there's the 1-1 upgrades, both Corona boosting away out of those Forges right now. So yeah, that's losing that initial Forge was kind of rough, because otherwise you'd already have +1 armor like on its way, right? So, you know, and +1 attack finish, you could start +2 if you'd added the second Forge. Maru's finding some good little trades here as well. That little group of units on the south side is doing a lot. This units are just going to run away. Hopefully go back to the 6 o'clock, because this is somewhere where Maru is really dealing a lot of damage. Still has Widow Mines that have just reset their position as well. If they can get off on some of these Zells, that'd be great. He will lose this one, getting a bit too greedy, trying to get in the mineral line, though. I love the effort. I love the idea. Just, yeah, unfortunately in this case, just a little bit too greedy, right? A little bit too far gone. Just going to be seeing still the rest of these units heading down. Just going to take the Watchtower. Prism comes in the upper left corner, and just seeing a little bit of harassment on the counterattack from Trap. So we'll see something we can keep an eye on, right? As otherwise we are watching a Maru who is also posturing still to be aggressive down over here. He's got a 4th base building, and he will float that out soon. Once it's done, he actually stems into this. There's 3 Colossi here, so gotta be careful as the initial Widow Mines. Okay, just the one goes off on a Zella. No detection here, apparently. Next Widow Mine connects on the Stalkers. We hit a good EMP onto the Sentry, so you take away the potential of Guardian Shields, Force Fields. Now we do have some units already here. They're going to go straight, and that's a dead Prism. Wow. I mean, it's just a perfect shutdown. Everything dies. Absolutely no hope at all for Trap on the counterattack. Maru absolutely pristine on the defense. It's not even a competition in that regard. That was absolutely perfect. Exactly what you'd be looking for. Takes away, just feels as though you've already taken away Trap's options, right? Trap just can't do much about that. And now what does he do? You know, what next? Stalkers continuing forward. The Marauders being chased away. The army of Trap coming to hunt this down. I mean, Maru is building more ghosts. He's got some Widow Mines set up over here. He could get that Disruptor maybe. He's obviously got to gain the Widow Mines to help him lead into this fight. Upgrade's currently even as well. 1-1 against 0. 1-1 against 1-1, sorry, obviously, if they're even. 2-2s on the way from both. Maru's is further ahead, so we'll maintain something of an upgrade lead as Widow Mine's connecting to clean out a row of Zealots already. Collect on the upper left Watchtower and the bottom right, so Maru again just setting up multiple different armies, and so far he's been controlling them well. He's not really left one to kind of just fall behind and be forgotten about. He's going to get forward here, and that's an immediate battery snipe, and the thing is, the battery that then gets overcharged is so far back, he's already out of range of it for the most part. EMPs to help take down another cannon, working his way through the stack defense. And yeah, just utilizing the few ghosts that are in this part of the army very well so far. Continue to trade with those Zealots right now. That +2 attack upgrade definitely coming into play, and Maru might be able to get himself the Disruptor here as well. The second one, there was already 2-1 that went down. Now the Colossus on its own, not enough support units, and Maru is overrunning on the bottom side. Trap just did not send the right amount of units over here, and the split was incorrect, and splitting is such an important part of a PvT defense. If you mess that up, you often do run into a lot of trouble, and that's exactly what just happened, as Trap takes a ton of damage right there. That hurts a lot. All these units around the bottom side then, and setting up. We scan ahead. We're going to move in. A couple pylons starting to go down. EMPs go down everywhere. We do have Vikings to try and go for the Colossus, although you've got to be careful. There is a few Stalkers here. That Disruptor shot will hit a good chunk of units on the front line. As Maru commits to this fight, now he's going to start pulling back. Widow Mines to help. Did not get rid of the Colossus, so the splash damage still available, and that's obviously a big part of this from Trap. In being able to survive, he's now finally going to even out the upgrades again as he finishes his own 2-2. Maru ahead on the +3 attack, but has not started a further armor upgrade. I see a few SCVs transferred to the upper left-hand side. Army on the bottom from Maru. Getting set up to go again. That gets picked up. A few more of these Zealots in some trouble. Prism trying to save it on low HP. Trap basically kind of walking the fine line of like, can I save these Zealots versus can I keep the Prism alive? Because he doesn't really want to have to rebuild the Prism in a world where he might need the Robo Facility to rebuild a couple Disruptors or so. Honestly, just isn't that. I mean, he's got some money in the bank, but rebuilding a Prism is a cost as well, and he'd just rather have it ready to go again rather than again having to rebuild. And you can see now, starts up 2 Disruptors and an Immortal, so definitely wanted to have the Robos free from Prism production to start at more kind of actual tech unit production. Super Battery activates post-EMP. We got the Disruptors from the side. What am I going to connect on one? Those Disruptors are really exposed, actually, and as he dodges this one, these other Disruptors are genuinely in trouble because there's just nothing to really protect them. I mean, the army on the left, kind of, but I feel like Maru probably could have sent more units along there to actually do something about that, in all honesty. So, yeah, I mean, they're still here. They're still in the bad position. He will kill another one. Probably could have had that one as well, just he didn't go for it. The Viking count looking good right now, too. Battery's out of energy. Super Battery is faded away. Kills this Disruptor already. First Colossus goes down in this fight. Now another one. In fact, all of them are just going to start falling low. A couple units around the right-hand side from Maru. He is just starting to overwhelm. It's not even close. He gets a good Disruptor shot trap, but that will be about all that he gets right now. As Maru takes down this left side 5th base, and Trap's supply is really, really struggling from that. Massive damage done by Maru here, putting himself into an excellent position as he comes back around into the center of the map. And yeah, this is absolutely just getting out of hand, out of control. Don't think that Trap is going to be able to keep this up much longer. I mean, you can hope and pray for some Disruptor hits, but at the moment it looks like Maru might just be able to get a little bit too much done and just get the job done here for Team NV. Stalkers around the right. There's a little bit of bio. We'll press forward and probes. A couple of them around. Hits an EMP on the High Templars. One Storm goes off. He returns with the feedback as well. We're just going to line up a nuke over here. Interesting way to settle this. Oh, get that going. I mean, the army's going to come through. I assume these Disruptors are going to try and clean the nuke up, but the Ghost is not being targeted. The nuke's going to land. We're not going to see it. The nuke lands. Well, I mean, we are pushing it down over... Oh, my God. We're actually not watching any of the action. There we go. Finally down over here. We're going to see this army pushing through. Trap doesn't have the units to send over here while also dealing with the army on the top side. Nexus goes down. The probes continue to fall. This Nexus on the left side will be falling as well. Trap has to type GG, and Maru will get the job done for Team NV. 4-3. GG's. Maru getting it done. Nicely handled. Well played. Alright, guys. I'm gonna... my puppy was just barking at the end there. I gotta do a little puppy check, make sure she's okay and stuff. So I'll be back in a few moments. Obviously, our next series coming up soon. We'll be on the screen in a second. You'll be able to see what it is. Just run some ads, and we'll be back in a few as Maru takes it and gets it done for Team NV against the Afreeca Freecs. 4-3 is the production. Also doesn't seem to know what's going on today.